intro.
Real life.
That's not the intro. Liam, it's all falling apart. Nobody's here except me and you and Gavin and Waz.
From here.
What's going on?
Hang on.
Right.
I'll find this intro. You know what? Where's the piss on him? There it is. You guys heard this
I'm
yet?
Tyler, your Remchuck, here to tell you I'm fucking disgusting, bro. And I generally stink like piss because I don't wash my hands. I piss on them. I piss on them. I piss on them.
Oilers Nation real life.
Full of piss. New pod, taking the piss. I piss on them.
I actually piss all over myself.
Yeah.
The hands aren't even the problem.
Wow. Piss on them. Piss on them.
Oh, somebody drinking their own urine is totally plausible.
You can find a way to mix in a pee jar.
Full of piss on them.
Sometimes I don't even take it out. I just go.
I don't wash my hands. I piss on them. Piss on them.
So long.
There you go. Meat Watcher with the real life intro.
I usually tend to listen to this podcast while I'm at the gym. And as I was like starting on the treadmill, that came on. As soon as I was like, wow, this is interesting.
Get a little chuckle.
Yeah, it's like,
Is
wow.
that you-
Like, what am I listening to?
Is that you bragging that you go to the gym?
No, rear
flex,
flex.
flex,
I go for like an hour.
Oh, big hour.
I'll go for an hour, maybe 2, maybe 3, 4 times a day.
I gotta
don't
get
know,
my
whatever.
steps in somehow.
Real life podcast Monday episode. Baggedmilk here. No one else showed up. That's just the answer. Tyler, Jay, they're in Nashville, so we had to recruit Liam. You were already on the schedule to produce.
I was scheduled to be on this show as the unofficial 6th member, typically.
Nobody else showed up though.
No.
Chalmers gone. He goes, "Oh, is there a podcast today?" Yep, every Monday has been for the last 3 years. Gavin's in, Waz is in. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're gonna get a little bit of silliness going. It's just fun to have the boys in. You know, different look.
It's a different cast.
Bring you behind the scenes a little bit. So when Tyler leaves to go on the road, he tends to take most of our equipment.
Yep.
Would you say?
Mm-hmm.
This time, I will give him credit. We discussed what was being taken this time.
Yes.
So that was big.
That is big. That's like,
Yeah.
that's an upgrade in the process.
It typically doesn't happen. I just show up and I'm like, okay, this is what I have to work with today.
It seems like something always goes wrong though when he's gone,
Every
though,
time.
right?
100%.
Every
Oh, yeah.
time.
So this time around, there was a discussion to be had. Tyler took the equipment. We knew what we had here. Yet the camera we have that we are filming with, if you see some clips today and they look janky, because the camera does not fit on the tripod we have in the studio.
Yes, it needs a screw-in part, which is just not here.
We just don't have it.
Our camera expert also wasn't here, Kennedy.
Yes.
Kennedy would normally have a solution for this. She is in Vancouver seeing one of the One Direction kids, I believe.
Zane.
I saw.
No, it's Niall.
I saw.
Is it
her-
really?
It's Niall.
Yeah.
God,
I saw on her
awesome.
Instagram story that she was at the airport. I'm like, she also going to Nashville? Like, who's going on? Everyone's taking a plane.
Going to see
nowadays.
Niall.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've got
Lewis Tomlinson, how you say his name?
We've
Nope.
got the camera sitting on a Better Late Than Never promotional candy box is what it looks like.
Yep.
Balanced on top of Liam's wallet, pointed at the boys on the couch.
It's getting the job done though.
Luckily, the wallet is thin.
Yeah, you keep it tight in there, huh?
Yeah, there's not a lot going on in there. Just a couple of cards, a couple of gift cards, ID.
You carry gift cards around with you all the time?
I have my Starbucks gift card, which, you can refuel.
Why don't you just put that, get the Starbucks app on your phone, transfer that to your phone, and that's always with
Do a
you.
little Apple Pay thing.
What if my phone dies
And you need a coffee?
and I need a coffee? What am I supposed to
The
do?
tables turned have turned. You have a
Yeah.
gift card.
Has that
You're
ever
good
happened to
go.
you?
No, but you can't trust technology.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What's the lowest you'll go on a charge on your, like normal circumstances? We're not saying like you're out and about and you don't have a charger. You're home, you look at your phone, it is at what % you go plug it in?
Honestly, I plug it in at every opportunity I can because
No love for
I don't know if
battery.
that's good for the battery.
It definitely is not good.
it's not. But when I first got the phone,
Yeah.
I would let it die. But then it just got to the point where it's like, okay, well, you've been in that scenario where you're out on White Ave or like wherever you
Yes.
are and you're like, crap, my phone's at 5%. I need to get home. And then you start booking your Uber and next thing you know, you're at 1%.
Yep.
And next thing you know, you're just waiting on the side of White Ave, not knowing what Uber you're waiting for, just stay in that exact spot because your phone has
Yeah.
died. And that has happened to me before.
Honestly, whenever I go out, I bring in a battery charger or
I
portable.
don't have those. I don't have those kind of pockets. If
Yeah,
we're
I
keeping
used
the
to do
wallet
that too, but I
thin-
hate having that in my
I
pocket.
understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And you got
But-
cables sticking out of your pocket.
Yeah. But I guess if like you're me, like always trying to grab content. But
Big content guy.
yeah.
not me.
What about you, Gavin?
No,
What are you
I'm
charging
not.
that from?
My friends call me a psychopath. I'll let it get down to 4 or 5% before I rent you a charger.
Every single time my girlfriend hands me a phone and says, "Can you put this on the charger?" I know what it's at because it's always at 1%. She lives life incredibly
Life in the fast lane. That's all it is.
Girlfriend
She'll
too.
know it's at 1% and just be on it and then leave and then like go out with the phone still at 1%. She's like, comes on.
That's insane.
My phone died. Wow. Who would have thought?
Let me ask you guys a question. Last night, I went to the Edmonton Elks game. They lost to the Toronto Argos. It was their 19th consecutive home loss.
Hell,
But who's counting?
I was standing in line for a beer. I was in one of the 1260 sections, so I had the cheap tickets. It was down on the end. It was cool. Sun was out. Weather was great. Had a
great
blast.
evening.
It was a great night for a football game. So I'm standing there in line, just having a beer. And the game was on TSN, or I guess it was like between quarters. It was on TSN. They were just talking about it. The 19 consecutive losses the Elks have at home at Commonwealth Stadium is putting them in the conversation all time in pro sports
That's
for most
disgusting.
consecutive home losses.
I saw this it showed it on the screen as well, on the TV, obviously. But like some of the teams that are in there are like teams that play every night.
Yeah.
Like, they're all like MLB, NBA, and I think there was an NFL in team there, maybe or something like that. And it's like the Elks.
But this
play-
this losing streak is span what, 3 years?
They've never won a game as the Elks at Commonwealth.
So when did they do that name change?
That
2020?
was during the pandemic, I think.
So like 3.5 years ago now?
yeah.
4 years,
So I
maybe?
think it might have been 4 years
Yeah.
because they had the season which didn't exist.
Right.
So then,
I think that's when it happened too.
so every time I go, I think tonight's the night, and it literally never
So
is.
June 1st, 2021, the team officially changed its name to the Edmonton Elks. They have not won at home in that time.
What a curse, man. And like Chris Jones, if you bring it up to him, he gets mad.
Oh,
Is he
yeah,
really?
he hates
But like,
it.
why does he
So
get
hates
mad
it.
though?
He just says, oh, it's not a big deal. We got to look past. We're on to next week.
It's
on
not
to
a
next
big
week. But
deal?
it gets to that point, man. Like, you got to win at home.
They've won 7 games as the Elks, I believe is
Well,
the record now.
I saw a tweet and it was like, who's going to win at Commonwealth first? The Oilers
I saw
or the
that.
Elks?
No,
Yeah.
well, that's actually, yeah. I
It's a
didn't think of that.
fair question.
It is?
Canada
really
men's
is.
soccer has won more games at Commonwealth than the Elks have,
Which is,
and they've played
ooh.
there twice.
Canada soccer's going bankrupt.
What a
Yeah,
mess,
that's a
man.
bad thing too.
I was trying to find out how many people were there last night because it's hard to tell when you're at Commonwealth, right?
And on TV, I was watching at home and I was like, man, it looks empty.
Is 20,000 seem like too many? It was hard to tell because like they're scattered everywhere.
Yeah.
But like I was trying to Google it quickly and I can't
I think
find
it'd be
it.
less than 20K.
I don't think they put it out there.
They
unless
did
it's good.
32,000 for the opener, which was the most for a home opener in a decade.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Last
was
night,
helped
though-
by the Riders massively too.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the Riders fans travel well too.
Yes.
But last night though, I'm looking around, I'm like, I have no idea. Is a third of this place full? Maybe not.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, but like we save hockey too, right? Like, oh, how are these Southern teams going to get
Yeah.
fans? It's like, well, win.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
win.
simple.
Win games. Like, no,
That's exactly it.
I actually really like going to the Elks games, but another thing that's grinding my gears about it this season is they just don't play on Saturdays or Fridays. All the games are on Sundays.
Really?
They have 3 Saturday home games this season.
It's weird.
And I feel like in the past they always played on Friday and Saturdays because I specifically vaguely
Friday
remember
night football.
Yeah, Friday night football going, and then you get pissed drunk with your friends, and then you go wherever you got to go.
Which is what I did last night.
Yeah,
I'm not feeling my
on a
freshest
Sunday.
today.
Now you're here on a Monday.
Yeah.
But I think their first Saturday home game isn't until like the end of July, like July 29th.
Try. I'm
Which is
check
just
right now.
brutal planning
Odds
by
on
this team. Like, I get it. Like, I saw a tweet last night. It's not about growing the game in Edmonton. I think everyone wants to go. It's about bringing people back and giving them like a reason to be there. Like last night was 90s night. Was there anything?
Yeah, they had some activations like
Okay.
Twisted Tweet was giving out some big Hulk Hogan sunglasses. We were all wearing those and I was having fun. And like Ryder from Play 107, he's the host, the in-game host, and he was all decked out and they were playing 90s music. Like it was to the point where I'm like, man, I haven't heard this song in forever. And then I was just like, oh, it's 90s night. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you know, why don't you just change the uniforms or something too? Like the Argonauts, their 150 year anniversary this year, which is crazy for a sports team. They're literally older than the Grey Cup, which is nuts. And they have these retro uniforms. Like the Elks couldn't do that for like one night just to try and like boost things up a
I
little
think we
bit.
discussed it though too. You just have to win.
Yeah,
gotta
the
win a
winning
game
is
at home,
a part
right?
of it.
Well, let me ask you a question. Look, when was the last time you went? Like I said, it was about 6 years for me last night. It was the first time.
I went to one last year. I usually go to one a year. My dad loves to go. So I go with my dad.
So I covered a game for school last year, but last time I paid for a ticket and went to the Elks game 5-6 years ago now.
Because when I was going to Nate,
Yeah.
they had College Corner was still a thing.
Yes.
So you could get, I think it was like $5 or $10 tickets. You were sitting up there, but it didn't matter. You were just going there and hanging out.
Yeah,
and
having
the
a good
vibe
time.
was great because a bunch of people were there to,
Yeah.
you know, it was Friday night or whatever. And you were having drinks. What was the last time you were there, Was?
When our buddy Chris Labossiere offered us free tickets to the Nation, and I just grabbed them.
Oh, so, but like you haven't paid for tickets.
I don't think
in
I've
a while.
ever paid for a ticket because I remember back in middle school, you'd always get like a free ticket, or like back in elementary, they give you like kids like a free ticket to go to a game. They weren't great seats, but like that was the last time before that.
I went to 2 games last year, and I'm sorry, yeah. So one of them I went in a limo with all my friends.
Nice.
We thought that was
Always
awesome.
the best.
It was cheaper to buy a limo than 2 Ubers, so we got the limo.
The limo, doves flying out. It was magical.
It was awesome. Actually, when we got out, I played the Avengers soundtrack as loud as I could.
Nice,
as we
you
were
got it.
stepping out of the thing.
Yeah, you got
It
it.
was amazing. But we didn't have tickets. So we got there and just assumed that we could just buy tickets. And you could, but they were like $100. And it's like, I had like specifically asked, like, can I have your cheapest ticket? They're like, yeah, $100. And I was like, where are these?
$100?
She's like,
Jeez.
it's just like second tier right at the back. I'm like,
What?
What? Like,
Wow.
you can buy them at Sobeys for like 20.
Yeah, I
But
always
at the
thought that they were
door.
much more reasonable. Than that.
Yeah, no. Apparently, if you buy them like through the actual Elks, they're not as reasonable as it may seem.
I'm on this website, Ticket Center. It says high demand event, Edmonton Elks. Their next home game, July 13th. It's on a Thursday.
I might actually go to that one.
And then they got BC Lions at Commonwealth on a Saturday, July 29th.
Is that the only Saturdays you can find?
Yeah, July, and then there's one in October.
Saturday, September 9th, Stampeders are in town. And then
be a good
October 14th, 2 p.m., Montreal.
So you're not getting a lot of Saturdays though.
No, 3 and 2 of them are in fall.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Well, that
spread
was
out.
part of the nice thing about yesterday was just sitting in the sun and having a beer and just kind of existing. It was the first half was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
They're only down by a
close.
Down
point.
by one.
See,
after
that's what
the
I liked
first half.
about SC Edmonton games when they existed, actually, because you could just sit in the sun, have a beer, and chill. And they were kind of cheap, but the team was not great.
Yeah, the Elks are definitely
Yeah,
not
the
gonna
Elks-
all.
The Elks are just not good. So last night on Twitter, I was curious. I was like, when was the last time you've gone to an Elks game? And I found it interesting that there's a lot of people that like me were just, I haven't been in 6 years. The last one I went to was in 2019. Others were like Liam. It's like, I try to go once a year, maybe. But it doesn't seem like, at least based on this informal polling I did last night on Twitter, that it's a very, very hot commodity for people right now.
Well, even so you were at the game, Baggedmilk.
Yep.
The quarterback that came in and fumbled immediately
Yep.
got pulled right after, and then I guess refused to go back in for a short yardage play. And today he got released.
Oh, wow.
So like the cult, like what's the player culture like too? It just seems like an
Yeah.
absolute disaster going on.
It's like,
there.
what do you mean refused to
He
go
just-
back in?
Yep.
Yeah, just said, hey, I'm
Yeah.
done.
They've
But then
been,
the other guy came in and that last play of the game where he got absolutely crushed, but like managed to like get a touchdown. It's like, I think that's what people want is like a fighting spirit. At least we
Yes.
literally have the fight song that goes on in the game.
Yep.
And then you watch some of the plays and it's just like, like, do these players even care? But then that guy comes in and like he's taking hit after hit after hit and like making play after play after play. And it's like, okay, well, at least there's some spirit going on the field a lot. And I think fans would appreciate to see that.
Well, and to me, you know, I was having a good time just because I was there just for something to do.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I do want to give them credit. Like the interactions with little kids that they do at the Elks games is fantastic. Little kids go and they're getting footballs thrown to them, like those little foamy footballs or whatever. That's really cool. But if you're going to have to pay $100 to go to a game, that is most certainly
Not worth
a
it.
loss.
get
Yeah.
more value than
Yeah.
Oil
Pencil it
Kings
in
game.
as a loss for sure.
But I got on the field.
Did
So,
you?
so me and my friend, this is a lesson for you youngsters here. Even though
Isn't Waz older than you?
I think he's 6 months younger than me. So I just got to act confident in certain situations.
Sure.
So there was me and my 9 friends, and there was the kids go on the field after the game, and we were like, okay, well, let's see if we can get on the field. So we go down, and my one friend stupidly like requested to the security guard if we could go on the field, and she was like, obviously said no. So okay. So we just started walking down to the next guy, and I just walked past him first. I was like, hey, and he goes, hello. And we all just, 9 of us walked by right onto the field. Security not very high there for some things too. So if you want to get on the field, it's very simple.
It's very hit and miss.
Ask for
Yeah.
forgiveness, not permission.
Exactly.
That's one of those
what
things
I
though,
did.
where if you're walking with convictions, you can do most things, I feel like.
Yeah, million.
I've had this plan with my buddies. It's been going on in our group chat for years now, where my goal in life is to steal an ice maker from a hotel.
That is a lofty one. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the ice is immaculate, comes out heavily.
Yes.
There's a ton of ice there. Let's say we're having a nation's summer event, maybe a little barbecue for the staff.
Yeah.
Pull that thing out. We've all got cold drinks.
No, yeah, nobody's worried about the ice.
So my plan is, if you go in there in coveralls and maybe come up with a fake purchase order, you could walk that thing right out the front door.
No questions asked.
I'm convinced that you could do it.
I think you could, because I think people are not confident enough to call you out on it.
Well, that's just it.
That's it.
The person at the front desk probably doesn't care.
No.
And I'm just like, this purchase order. This is for Jim. They're like, oh, okay. I'm like, the ice maker's broken. That one? I'm like, yep, we're just going to pick it up. We'll be right back. Bring it back in a couple of days. Okay. Here's a copy of the purchase order. You put that down, a little photoshopping.
What's the craziest thing you would try and confidently steal? I guess a nice
ice maker is up there.
It's big.
Yeah.
Anything?
I have no idea, honestly.
Waz is too, honestly.
Yeah.
I think trying to get into like the lower area of like a concert would be like a big
I do that all the time. I love it.
If you're in the seats.
We did nation vacation to Vegas.
Right.
Right before the pandemic. And we were in there and we used to go up in the flight deck. That's like we're at the end where it's an all-inclusive thing. You get your beers are covered, your food is covered. Part of it is pretty cool. You're like, fuck yeah, I'm going to drink $12 beers all night long and you can't stop me. Problem is you can't see anything because it's standing room. So that's why this past year we went in the seats. Anyway, my point is I was looking up around the top of the thing in Vegas. I'm like, what are all those candles up there? I wonder. So me and former Nation producer, his name is Jared, not sales guy Jared, different Jared. We went on the hunt to find where those candles were. Turns out we ended up in some kind of lounge. And then I broke into the Jack Daniels lounge in the lower bowl. I waited for someone to come out and then I ninja'd my way in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Slimy stuff. Just wiggle your way through.
I also broke into in Vegas at T-Mobile. I got into a child's 10th birthday in a suite.
Okay.
Nice.
They were all wearing Oilers jerseys. So I popped in. I'm like, hey,
I'm an Oilers fan too.
Yeah. So they welcomed us and we had a beer in there at a child's birthday.
The one other time I managed to do this was at BVJ where so my friend's dad worked for the Edmonton Sun and he was able to get us free tickets to like the VIP area, but that was more for the camping and the actual shows. But a couple of my friends were in there already, but a few of us didn't have the VIP passes. So I managed to like literally maneuver my way like through this like bag check security. I like get all the way through with no pass, just being like, oh, my dad's in there. And they're like, oh, okay. And they just like let like three of my friends all the way through and we got front row to, it was Florida, Georgia line.
I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is up on this one, but back in the day, they never really used to check your cars all that well at BVJ. We would get 4 or 5 of us in trunks of cars.
Yep.
And just ride on through.
There was a guy I knew who would take a trailer and they would buy like 2 tickets and there'd be 2 of them in the seats. And then when they got to BVJ, everyone would hide in the cupboards.
Sure. Yeah.
And then they would like open a door so nobody was there. And then you just get in and you like you and your 10 friends, you split 2 tickets.
Once upon a time, they used to have like this, and I haven't been in for years. I used to go in high school all the time. So we're talking like early 2000s. Back then there was just like this very low wood fence as you were going past the gated part.
Yes.
And there would just be like security doing their security thing. And then old Baggedmilk would just be like, up I go over the fence and I'm in.
Yeah. You gotta find the gaps. BVJ was a lot of fun. A war zone.
Don't steal people. I think that's the lesson.
Yes. I remember my first year at BVJ was an adventure. So my mom's friend got me tickets and we stayed in family. And which was supposed to be the quiet area. Not really. And none of it was really quiet. And we came back and my tent was literally turned inside out. It was just pouring with rain. This place is an absolute disaster. And some of the things you see, like just cops playing beer pong throughout the day. And
at BVJ?
Like, yeah. And then like handing, they obviously weren't drinking, but they were shooting and then just handing the beers. So he's like, incredibly drunk people.
Yep.
And it's like that's
people in various stages illegal. Of disrobe.
Yes. Various stages. I remember one year, we did this a couple of years in a row. my two friends wore these shirts being like, have you seen this man? And it was a guy who wasn't on the trip with us. He lived in Vancouver and he had his face in it. It was like, if you see him, call this number. And all night for like literally the whole weekend. So we got endless calls. And and then the next year we did it to a guy that was there. And we just put these posters around like, if you see this man, like tap him on the shoulder or something like that. It was something stupid. And literally all day, this guy was just getting so annoyed.
Leave me alone.
People just kept hitting him and everything. It was ruthless, but BBJ,
To be young, Liam.
place. Yes, to be young. I was Gavin again.
If you are heading out to Big Valley Jamboree this summer, I encourage you to pack a bunch of Will Hog beef jerky, Waz.
Saw them at WEM the other day.
Did you? Did you grab something?
No.
You're supposed to say yes. This is a paid ad.
I
read.
would have. I
Then you always say
flavor,
yes.
but
Waz, did you buy something at West?
Yes.
See,
There we go.
Now
Very
we're talking.
delicious.
What flavor?
They only have one Waz. That's all you need.
Beef jerky.
There you go.
The beef jerky. They got the garlic sausages though. Also,
Oh, okay,
excellent.
that's always good.
Come
That's
on.
always a good time.
Leduc, Spruce Grove, and as like Waz said, West Edmonton Mall. You want some beef jerky, get on in there. Or if you just want to check it out, willhogbeefjerky.com. I
good.
guarantee you will love it
the best road trip snack by far.
without question.
Do you know
By far.
the cool thing about them at BVJ, West Ed now though is the
Will
fact
Hog
that
beef jerky?
yes, is the fact they have these massive signs everywhere.
Yeah.
They are literally taking over them all.
Giant like banners.
Understandable.
Love to see
I
it.
think
Can't
they're
miss
by the Disney store. Right outside the Disney store, I think is their
The
little
old Disney store. I
kiosk.
don't think the Disney store's there anymore. I
Pardon?
think they shut down.
The Disney. How are we in this world where Disney doesn't have
No
a
one
store?
loves fun anymore, man.
Yeah,
Sure.
The Disney store's gone.
You're telling me no one showed up for this podcast?
it's exactly it.
Yeah.
Now we're all just ordering podcasts online and not showing up to the studio where they're actually made. You
No
know,
one wants to make them. Everyone wants to listen to them. Oh.
we might as well change gears a little bit here, boys. Tonight is the NHL Awards. They're in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena. Of course, our man Connor McDavid, he's nominated for a handful of things. Stuart Skinner nominated for the Calder Trophy. I find it interesting and weird that the Oilers have never had a Calder winner. Nooch for Calder. I made a video for him in 2012, I guess that would have been, to win the Calder Trophy.
Mhm.
He did not win.
That was Landeskog, right?
Landeskog won it.
So, yeah.
Nuge did not play enough games.
Right.
McDavid also did not win because he didn't play enough games.
Panarin won. that year,
Panarin, he was like 26. Like
Yeah.
Taylor Hall.
For our friends at Betway, we're going to go through some of these award winners. We're just going to put our bets on who we think
Let's
is
do it.
winning. Some of them are easier than others. Some of them are foregone conclusions. Others, it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts. Hart Trophy, I think we can all agree Connor McDavid is taking that home. That'll
Locked
be
in.
his third.
Are the odds still available? Because the odds for the first overall pick on Betway are there, but there are just no odds because it's like, it's kind of wasting your money.
Well, even if they were, like, they got to be like minus 10,000 or something. You know
that's
what I mean?
what that
like the NBA.
Victor
They're-
Wanyama was on Betway. It was minus 10,000.
I
Their
saw someone
odds
put
for
10K on that and he won like $10.
Yeah.
Are there odds for like
It's just
Yeah,
like,
win's a win, I
why
guess,
do
but-
that risk? Because
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
the teeny tiny chance.
Something may happen.
are there odds for like Matvei Michkov?
Yes, to go
Oh,
first.
yes.
Okay.
I think, yeah, and it's like over under like 4.5.
There was actually, sorry, before we go through, do you remember a few years ago it was the NFL draft when Laramie Tunzel was supposed to go first overall?
Yeah, I was at that draft when
And-
that video dropped.
And his stepdad released a video of him
Yeah.
ripping a bong
I
for
was
a gas
physically
mask.
at the draft in Chicago when that video was released. And remember, we were all watching.
How far
on
did
the
he
big
fall?
screen.
He went 13th. He
Yep.
was supposed to go first.
Yeah, I remember we were
Just a
all talking
bong
to the
rip,
draft.
eh?
Oh, it was a big one. Yeah. And
I
he
was right beside the panel when this video dropped, and we're like, "What is going on?"
I love that.
It was
With
his-
the gas mask.
was it his stepdad or his uncle or something?
His
like
uncle,
that?
I believe.
Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
and literally just in this gas mask, and he just pulls
And
it
you
off.
see
and just
smoke going
smokes
everywhere.
That's so good.
This guy's an
Special
NFL
times.
athlete right there.
Yeah.
To answer the question, though,
Dream
we
on,
do
kids.
not have odds on tonight's awards, only next year's awards.
Oh,
Maybe we can look at some of those, but we also got some draft odds. If you're looking to bet, provided that you're 19 plus and can do so responsibly, Betway still got some draft odds for what's coming up on Wednesday and Thursday. Go check those out. But for the night, the awards tonight, boys, I'm just going to ask you, or pretend that Betway has odds on them. Connor McDavid winning the Hart. I'm going to put that at minus 10,000. You taking that, Gavin?
Yeah, man. It's locked in, man. Like I don't see anyone else who can beat McDavid for that award. McDavid was all locked up.
Who are the other nominees?
Pasternak and Matt Tkachuk.
Right. Yeah, McDavid for sure.
This one's interesting to me. Adam Fox, Erik Karlsson, Cale Makar all nominated for the Norris Trophy, which is given annually to the best defenseman in the NHL, as voted by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Was Adam Fox, Erik Karlsson, Cale
I'll go
Makar.
Erik Karlsson. What's too
I think
easy.
you have to,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like 100 point.
They do love
season
points,
for a
don't they?
defenseman.
Mhm.
Like,
They love points.
I think you
It's-
have to give it to Carlson.
I wish there was like a defensive defenseman award because I feel like this award just goes to whoever scores the most points.
I'm surprised they haven't added that
Yeah.
in, actually.
Yeah, but then there'd be the argument of like, where do you cut it off?
Yeah, and what do
sure.
you consider a defensive defenseman? Does that preclude like, Adam Fox is reasonably solid defensively that he cannot win that because he's also in the conversation for the other one? I don't know.
Yeah, and this would be Carlson's second Norris trophies. I think he won in 2015.
I think this will be a lot closer than maybe it's assumed to be. I remember Frank was on Owen every day a while ago towards the end of the regular season when Tyler and I were doing our predictions. And he said that like a lot of people are kind of voting for Adam Fox on this because Carlson simply does not play defense.
Yeah.
He's a terrible defender. And they was just like the effort that he had this season. I don't think he plays on the penalty kill.
He's like a third and a half forward.
Yeah, pretty much. And he was like minus this season.
He's a weird player.
Wasn't he?
I mean, San Jose was terrible though.
But he's got 100 points too. Like I will
Yeah, I
never
think he finished with
forget.
101 points on the year.
I will never forget when the Oilers beat San Jose in overtime. And it was that crazy game when the Germans were here and Carlson's effort on when Dawson scored in overtime. It was like,
He was a man that exists.
yeah, he was on the ice as a body. He finished minus 26 this season.
Oh, better than minus
Hell yeah.
27, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, which
than
Norris
minus
Trophy
27.
which Norris Trophy winner is going to win the green jacket? All right, let's go. Next award, boys. I have got the Ted Lindsay. You've got Erik Karlsson, Connor McDavid, David Pastrnak as your nominees. I'm going to go ahead and assume that Connor's going to take that one home.
Yep.
I bet Pastrnak gets some votes
Probably.
because that's
sure.
the players one, right?
That's the players.
I guess.
Don't
Well, I
have players vote on.
mean, Carlson probably gets some votes for that too.
I honestly don't think you would.
I honestly don't understand, and I say this every year, so I'll say it again today. I don't understand why we make a bigger deal of the Hart Trophy than we do of the Ted Lindsay Trophy, given that it's the players that vote on the Ted Lindsay Trophy.
Yeah.
I think that one is way more important than the Hart Trophy.
Which trophy's bigger in terms of size? Maybe.
in terms of its actual mass?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Maybe that's.
It's probably the heart, but
I don't know, Oz.
I've never looked
You're going to have to Google that one. pal.
that's
it should be the Ted Lindsay.
Should be.
If I was a player, I'd rather that one too.
It's kind of funny when you look at after when all the votes are released, especially for the Hart, and you see like guys from like Pittsburgh who didn't put like Connor McDavid as their first place vote. It's
Yeah.
like, whoa, wow.
That's nonsense.
It's,
We have a handful of voting members within our network, Waz, and I like to make sure to badger them when voting goes in. Like Ryan Pike, I was blowing his phone up every other day. Did you vote for Connor? Did you vote for Connor? Did you vote for Connor?
do you remember the race last year? Because Matthews won last year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But there was like 9 guys.
Yeah.
There was like Matthews, Gaudreau, Huberdeau, McDavid, Draisaitl,
Well, and the funny thing was
whoever
that
else it was.
McDavid ran away with the points totals again last year,
Yes.
like he always does. And it's just like, oh, well, Matthews scored 60.
yeah, it truly was.
Next up, gentlemen, for our friends at Betway, we are looking at the NHL Awards that take place tonight at Bridgestone Arena, the Calder Memorial Trophy, given to the best rookie in the league. I think Matty Beniers is going to win it, but Stuart Skinner should win it. Yes, I'm biased. Hear me out, Kevin. The Oilers do not make the playoffs without Stuart Skinner. I don't think Matty Beniers was that important to the Seattle Kraken as Stuart Skinner was to the Edmonton Oilers. That said, it is for the best rookie, not the most important rookie. And therefore, I think Stuart Skinner will not win, even though he should.
Exactly. And Beniers, he was so inconsistent the second half of the season too, right? And I'm going for Stu because I got Stu at like plus 900. Right around January. So I'm all in for Stu as well.
I agree. Should be Stu.
I think it'll be Beniers just because of like how good he was for Seattle, I guess. You know, he was the best rookie, not the most important, but like I think Stu will get second without a doubt.
Jack Adams Trophy for the best coach. I find this one interesting. And again, I'm biased. I get that. So if you're listening, this going, Baggedmilk only wants Oilers in all the awards. Yes, I do.
Well, damn
Yes.
right.
Jack Adams Award. Woody didn't even get a sniff on this one.
Yeah.
Dave Haxtell, Seattle makes sense. Jim Montgomery, Bruins makes sense. Lindy Ruff also makes sense. Maybe there's not room for Woody in there. I get it. Who is your pick, Gavin, for the best coach in the National?
I think you got to
Hockey
give to Jimmy, man. The best regular season to date for the Boston Bruins and in the whole NHL. I think Montgomery has this one locked up.
Wouldn't it be interesting though if they voted after playoffs were over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would that have
No
any
kidding.
effect on what the Jack Adams would do?
I think so. Because like, how do you measure success? Winning a Stanley Cup, right? Or at least having success in the playoffs,
I'm also
right?
I'm also surprised Vegas' coach didn't get a nomination.
I think there was a lot of nominees this year.
Yeah.
What? Who were the three again? Sorry, Montgomery.
Dave Haxtell, Seattle, Jim Montgomery, Bruins, and Lindy Ruff in New Jersey.
You got to remember too, like Lindy Ruff was getting his name chanted along with
Fire Lindy.
Yeah.
Fire Lindy, and then it turned into Sorry Lindy.
Yeah, like 2 games
They
into
won
the
like a
season.
10-game win streak or something like that. It's been crazy.
Devils were fun.
It was, yeah. I might give it to, I mean, it's hard not to give it to the Bruins guy, especially with the stuff he's gone through personally as well.
Yep.
But I like the Lindy Ruff one because of that point of like, people thought he was going to get fired at some point this season.
I wish that they had like the same version of these awards, but let the fans vote on it. I'd be really curious how those go. Just give me the same nominees even.
Yeah, I don't need any extra.
I'm just curious how it would play out. Frank Selke Trophy given annually to the forward voted best to excel in the defensive aspects of the game. As voted on by the Professional Hockey Writers Association, your nominations are Patrice Bergeron, Nico Hischier, and Mitchell Marner. To me, Patrice Bergeron, this is just, they may as well just rename it the Bergeron
That's what I was
Award.
just going to say. It should be just to be named after him now.
It's cool that, it's honestly pretty cool that Mitch Marner's in there, considering how many points he puts up, and he's like known to be an offensive player, but he has that defensive aspects to his game too. Like,
and yet Leafs fans still hate him.
Yeah, for some reason,
Fuck, do
everyone's
they
just
hate him
on that guy. So I don't really know enough about it. I think Bergeron's eventually, going to get this award named after him.
Isn't he going to retire? Maybe Bergeron. He might.
Maybe.
There's his swan song.
Yeah.
You know, wins another one on his way out. Lady Byng Trophy given annually to the player voted best to combine sportsmanship, gentlemanly conduct, and ability as voted on by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. You're not. Yep.
Yeah.
I follow.
Debate over.
Yes, I follow Petrangelo.
Your nominees are Jack Hughes, Anze Kopitar, Braden Point. I don't care, to be honest, about the Lady Byng.
I don't care either.
I really don't care.
What was
Peter.
it? Who was the first one you said?
Jack Hughes. I'll vote for him because he's got good hair.
Yeah, he does.
He's a very good hockey player. I'll vote for him.
What about the hair was? That's what I care about.
I'll go Braden Point because he played at Moose Jaw, and I know Jay just likes Moose Jaw.
Jay does love Moose Jaw.
Yeah,
Sucking up to Jay is always a good thing.
So that'd be
does
big.
love Moose Jaw. The General Manager of the Year award, the Jim Gregory Award. Jim Nill from the Dallas Stars, Don Sweeney from the Bruins, and Bill Zito from the Florida Panthers. This one's interesting to me because what did the Dallas Stars do?
What did Bill Zito do?
I get Bill Zito, but he pulled off that Kachuk trade.
True, but they were literally a loss away from not making the playoffs.
Facts.
That's crazy. I think Ken Holland should have been in this group. I think Kelly McCrimmon should have been in this group. I think you could make an argument that maybe all three of those guys should have been changed. I don't know. I guess you can't take out Don Sweeney.
Don Sweeney makes sense because the Bruins, historical season. But again, what did the Dallas Stars do?
What did they do? Did they make any big trades?
I don't know.
I don't think so, but they had a good season. Like they went to the conference final.
Did they win the division?
I think they did.
We can fact check this. We'll move on. King Clancy Memorial Trophy given to annually to the player who best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice. Your nominees are Michael Backlund, Anders Lee, and Darnell Nurse. Of course, the award winner is Darnell Nurse. Moving on.
Let's go.
Daryl, can I make a comment on that?
Please.
It's crazy, and I get it, that we just shit on Nurse's contract every single day of the week. Not us necessarily, but you know what I mean. And then here he is winning the best community player in the league.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and every day we just continue. It's like, maybe we should lay off this guy just a little bit.
You have those people on social media who will meme him, especially yesterday when there's a photo of Skinner, Connor, and Nurse. It's like, oh, look at Nurse just showing up. Who invited him?
It's like he's won his award.
He's contributing a lot to the community, and he deserves the respect that he's getting.
He's just an overall great guy.
Yeah, 100%.
To me, this is just, and I'm older than you guys, but this is the new Horkoff.
Yeah.
Sean Horkoff had like 77 points or something like that one year, signed a big ticket for that time. It was $5.5 million bucks, never really quote unquote played up to it. And people just hammered him for years about it.
Well, I remember
he was the captain. He was a power play contributor. He was a mentor to like Taylor Hall and Nuge at the time. There was a lot to like about Sean Horkoff as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And just fucking can't get over the contract. And that's Darnell Nurse now in 2023 is the poster child for it.
Like the one jersey that I seen that I absolutely hated was 9.25 and the name bar was million. Like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing?
It's a waste of money.
There was a thing today too that I saw. It was one of those tier lists, and it was like ranking the franchise defenseman on everyone's team. And it's like everyone in the bottom group was like Darnell fucking Nurse, and it was like below everyone. It's like, Man,
He's not even that bad of a defenseman.
He was like 7th in even points by a defenseman last season.
And the reality is, whether you like it or not, I mean, Ekholm now can add a wrinkle into the conversation.
Yes.
Darnell Nurse was the best defenseman on the team.
Yeah, he was.
Take him off the team, and you're going to feel it.
I think
Big
he had
time.
the 5th most 5v5 points on the Oilers.
Probably. Well, he was like 6th in the league. So yeah.
One thing that like I would love to see Darnell Nurse, and this isn't meant to be a shot at Cody Ceci, but like having a partner that settles his game down, like that rumor where I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I love to think it will, of Brett Pesce. The Oilers having interest in Brett Pesce. If you stuck Pesce with Nurse, that is a different player completely than having Cody Ceci right there.
Well, and see, like, and what Ekholm did to Bouchard, right?
Yeah,
Just bringing a huge guy in like that would be awesome for Nurse.
Yeah.
I hate to bring it up, but when you go back to that Winnipeg series in 2021, he played like 60 minutes in that triple OT.
Yeah,
Like,
he
it's
did.
crazy.
He did.
He certainly did.
Dallas did not win that division this year.
So why is he nominated for GM of the year?
I don't know.
What did they do?
They
Everyone,
finished second.
everyone listening, let us know, man. I don't know what we're missing here.
Colorado won, and so they literally had one more win last year than they did this year. They had 46 wins last season, and this season they had 47. The only difference was they had 14 overtime losses this season.
You know what? I'm going to go to that website. I'm going to find it. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head, where it's the GM trade tracker thing. And I'm going to find out what the fuck Jim Nill did.
Oh
this
yeah. I always love looking through that one, especially when you go back to some Oilers GMs.
So we acquired Nils Lundqvist
Nice.
in September 19th of 2020. Oh, this just isn't updated. I was like, he made one trade all year? Come on, man.
I guess they got Max Domi. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a weird one.
Anyway,
That was a weird one.
Good.
I'd like to
youngsters
hear
coming through.
your thoughts on who's going to win all the awards. Yes, was.
I just saw, I just read up an article. It says, Nil's biggest offseason move was signing head coach Peter DeBoer.
All right.
All right.
Nice.
There you have it.
Lock him in for the award.
That was about
There
it.
you have it. If you were
GM of the
putting,
year.
if you put a couple of shekels on Jim Nils winning GM of the year on our friends at Betway, I'd like to hear about it.
He inked Mason Marchman, defenseman Colin Miller.
Mason Marchman is like one of the biggest busts from the free agency class too, I believe.
Which is interesting because
I wanted him so
I wanted
bad.
him around here too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's important to admit when we're wrong, Liam.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's also okay to hide away from it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
31 points in 68 games for Marchman.
Nice.
Good player.
Not good enough.
The other big news from the weekend I wanted to talk about, Connor McDavid got down on one knee, proposed to Lauren Kyle. 8 years she put in to get that ring. It was a fucking big one.
Did you notice
An
the shape
absolute
of it?
rock on her finger.
It was an oil drop.
I did see
I
that.
did see that. I also saw the Photoshop Kennedy made very quickly.
The BioSteel sign.
Now we know why Lauren Kyle spends all that time in the gym. She got to get a pump in to lift that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. So this can be a story for after this, I guess. But I was on a kayak when this happened, and I
were you?
landed. I went to Elk Island.
Oh, nice. How
Nice.
was it?
It was all.
Elk Island is awesome.
Elk Island is awesome, but boy, oh boy, kayaking is something.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I got back and my phone was like blowing up with all these notifications. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. It's,
we literally spoke about it like 2 weeks ago on, I can't remember if it was this podcast or O&R who predicted who would get engaged first. I said McDavid.
I posted, of course, it immediately on ON Instagram. I think it's like one of our most liked posts all year. It's got 15,000 likes.
Really?
Yeah.
Check out the insights. See what the impressions are on that one.
Holy moly.
So obviously it reached 97,000 accounts.
Yeah. It was meant to be.
Impressions 105,000 just for a single photo. It's probably and like 17,000 post interactions. Like Jesus Christ, and like all the memes coming out after it too, like the McRoyal wedding. Like,
Oh yes.
hopefully that doesn't happen.
I saw the photoshopped head of like Connor McDavid on Prince William's
Yes.
head.
Yes.
That was spiced oil.
Yes.
Yeah, that was big. But the question is, who's the best man? I think it's an obvious answer.
Now, okay. Now we've got a conversation to be had.
It's
Yes.
gotta be his brother.
I think it's his brother. But
So which Oilers will be groomsmen?
Let me tell you something.
okay.
I think legitimately the brother's the safe answer.
Yes.
He's going to be a groomsman without doubt.
He's a betting favorite.
But the ride or die, you get to pick that one.
Oh, yeah.
You pick your ride or die. You're born with a brother. Who needs that?
True. That's why I don't have a brother.
Right?
I don't have a brother either. So
Although I was the best man at my brother's wedding. Anyway, I think it's gonna be Leon.
I mean, that's option 2 for sure. You know, Daryl,
I like option 2.
I mean, hey, it's one way to keep it.
Connor could be
around.
number 3, or no, what's the brother's name?
Cam, isn't it?
Cam could be number 3 in that line. Connor, Leon, Cam,
Darnell.
Darnell's in there, sure.
Yep. Connor Brown.
Connor Brown,
Yep,
future
Connor
Oiler,
Brown.
yep.
Probably Schultz.
Justin Schultz?
Nick?
Wow.
Yeah, Nick Schultz.
Yeah, Nick Schultz. He's coming back.
The-
Tom Gilbert's in there somewhere.
You know, Daryl and Nuge are locked in for groomsmen, but the big debate is the best man. It is obviously.
I think it's going to be
Oh,
Leon.
Do you know what, too?
Go ahead.
That's the one thing we haven't considered here is the maid of honor. Who's likely
Celeste Desjardins. Now it's just come on. It's all fitting together. Though we do we know if Lauren has any siblings of any kind?
We're not sure.
Does she have a sister?
I don't know.
We're not down that
It's her
path
birthday,
yet.
by the way. Happy
Or that girl
birthday.
that's always in her Instagram pictures, Liv Hall. Who's that?
I don't know. I'm
Richard
not
Dunford, whoever that is. I keep saying that.
potential
Either way,
bridesmaids.
this is going to be the Oilers' wedding of all time.
Also, sorry, another wrinkle.
Go ahead.
Cam McDavid recently got engaged
Yes.
too. Double wedding.
You don't see that happen. very
Yeah,
often.
no, you don't. I mean, if anyone's going to change things up, it's the future GOAT himself, Connor
Listen,
McDavid.
I like it. I wonder now, because I did see Cam McDavid got engaged weeks ago. It
Yeah, a
wasn't
few
like it
weeks
wasn't
ago.
a crazy long time. How long do you think Connor had to wait to not steal the thunder from his brother?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think
The decision was made.
Oh, you had to give it a week at least. They must have known they were both going to do that.
You would
'cause
think so.
it's
I wonder if
interesting.
Cam raced out to do it first.
I want, you know, I bet.
He's like, listen, Connor, you're
Yeah.
first at everything, including first overall in the National Hockey
I'm the
League. I'm doing
favorite
this
son.
first.
So I'm
Yes.
engaged.
And you're
Mom and
paying
Dad
for
don't
this
have a
engagement.
shrine of me in the basement.
I bet Connor let Cam have his moment first. He knew what was going to
I
happen
agree.
because they did it in a very nice spot too. I think it was in Europe.
Italy.
Was it Italy?
believe so.
Yeah. I don't know why McDavid did
Storybook.
it because he was in Nashville like 20 minutes later.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Well, I
Sent Lauren Kyle back to work. He's like, I got to get on a plane.
we got to pay for this wedding, Lauren.
obviously I follow some of the players on social, and they're. I mean, we do, I guess. And I saw like they were going to the Morgan Wallen concert in Chicago and stuff. So
So it was in Chicago.
yes, I believe so.
Oh, no.
Maybe a little deep dish
There you go.
pre and post.
I wonder if that's how she found the ring.
Oh, I just dug it into a big deep dish.
Yes.
By the way, deep dish pizza, delicious. I'm just going to say something controversial here.
I was just going to bring this up.
It's more like a lasagna than a pizza to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It probably is.
Delicious nonetheless.
Hey, no one's taking that away.
I haven't had it.
I'm not a fan. I've been to Chicago twice. Not a fan.
I might have a lasagna.
There's that
tonight,
spot
though.
on White Ave.
that we're mentioning.
Maybe it's nice.
There's a spot on White Ave that Chicago deep dish pizza. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
There's also a
I
place
think it's
called Chicago
exactly
Deep
that
Dish.
too.
It is,
in the
yeah.
West End. You know what I'm going to have for dinner, Liam?
I mean,
I got the little
well-
potato company staring at me.
Oh, so good, so good.
do you
If
know
you
what?
don't
That's a
know,
good idea.
I got to take you behind the scenes here on what was that, Friday?
Yes, Friday.
Friday, Kennedy, our graphic designer, you know her.
Familiar.
Seen
with
her
work,
content. You love Kennedy. She rolls into the office with a box. Normally she doesn't walk in with a box. So here I am thinking it's more stuff for Tyler to bring to Nashville. She opens the box and starts popping bags of potatoes everywhere. The Little Potato Company. We've got a back door into their inventory.
Yeah. She just didn't say anything either. She just opened this box, and next thing you know, we all have 2 bags of potatoes.
Yeah, she goes,
on
"Do you
our
want
laps."
potatoes?" And I go,
Oh,
"Yes."
They
Yes.
were great on the barbecue.
You had some?
Yep.
I air fried some last night when I got back from the Elks game. Was little sour cream, bacon bits.
Easy. So
Lovely.
The
good.
works.
I might get the barbecue up and running tonight. Actually, I gotta figure out those steaks. that
Well,
I've
first of all,
left.
number one, you got to make sure you got some propane.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's how I get started. I gotta get some fuel for this damn thing. A couple of weeks ago, I went and bought all these burgers. I got a few steaks, but now my barbecue just has no gas. And
Unfortunately, got a Costco nearby,
no.
Shore Park.
Costco's a rock throw away. Gas station is also closer.
I'm one of those tank exchange
Me
guys.
too. I have the tank, so I can just do a little switcheroo.
My old man, he's very old school. He'll drive around the city looking for the cheapest propane prices, which to me doesn't make any logical sense. It's like I'm going to waste hours of my life to try and find the cheapest propane when I can just go to the Safeway across the street from me and just do a little swapper.
And really, it's all balancing out with the gas that you use.
Exactly.
These propane
I've been
tanks.
pushing this for arguably years with my old man. We'll argue about it.
I have something to admit.
Go ahead.
I've never barbecued
Okay.
in my life.
Not once?
Not.
Have you stood at one?
No.
Really? Try it. You don't even have to turn it on. Just stand at the grill for a little bit and think, wow, this could be good.
Let me tell you something though.
Yeah.
We need to change this.
100%. I agree. I don't feel like a man.
I might bring a Coleman stove in here.
Please.
Just like a camping grill.
Bring it with your ice.
I want to be able to go to a friend's party, hop on a grill, and be that guy flinging burgers to everyone.
There's no better feeling.
Special.
And beer in your hand on a summer day.
Beer
I
in your
need that
hand.
my
You
life
got the
right now.
flipper thing. Maybe even pop on an apron.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Apron is like a must for
Oh,
me.
you got to have the apron.
Waz, have you barbecued?
I've attempted here and there.
He's dabbled.
Yeah.
I can't believe this.
Especially when I was younger.
Yeah.
But
Why do you think it is that you've never barbecued?
I don't know. Someone else has always stepped up. I never had to, I guess.
Fair.
Me and when me and my buddy lived together, we would just, when the sun came out, we would barbecue all the time for each other.
It's too hot to cook
I've
inside.
always wanted to get
Way
more
too
into
hot.
it.
We had this apartment where it was an apartment. What do you call it? Like a suite, I guess. It's like when you have a house, but there's a bottom floor and a top floor.
Yeah, the basement suite.
But we lived in the top floor. It was weird.
So in a house.
Yeah, duplex kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of, but in one.
Okay.
And we were the top floor, and in the summers it was a bajillion degrees, and we just had this little patio. And as soon as you turn the oven on, not only was the oven 400 degrees Celsius, so were we.
Yeah.
So we only had to cook outside, and it made me more of a man.
I love that.
I agree with you.
Yes.
Every summer when the temperature rises above like 22 degrees, I'm barbecuing.
Mhm.
You got it.
There's something also very, I like it. It's satisfying. First time I pull out the barbecue after the winter. Well, I barbecue all winter actually,
I do too.
but when I give it its first good scrub down of the summer and it's sparkly and it's all looking good and the grill's nice and clean, and then I have a celebratory beer. Come on.
And it brings people together.
Have you actually heard
Come on.
the recent rumors of the metal cleaner
I did see
that
that.
you're not supposed to use anymore?
No,
You can
tell
get
me.
stuck in your food.
So yeah, the metal brush, you're not supposed to use it because then it can get stuck within the barbecue.
The brush, like the
The brush, so
Yeah,
the bristles
Oh,
off.
so
yeah,
then
makes
the
sense,
fumes.
And then, it
Yeah.
kind of gets into your food. And
So what are you
then
supposed to
it's
do?
I mean-
you're supposed to use like more of like a plastic one, I believe.
I like
Just
using the
anything
metal
but
scrape.
metal.
yeah, anything but metal. Use
Metal
a sink.
scraper I like to use.
Yeah, don't use that.
Don't use the brush.
Not even that one?
But then also I
the
feel
scraper
like,
might be fine.
Scraper's
Oh,
fine, just
okay.
not a brush.
Not a brush.
but then I also feel like if it's a plasticky brush that I'm just inhaling plastic.
But you can digest it a little bit
Exactly.
easier
Ah,
than the metal.
so I'm trending closer towards Iron Man then this way.
Yes.
I think I'm going to stick
There's
with
a
it
reason
then.
you always go off through the metal detector.
I think I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, let me know how it goes.
You know what? This is
Make the
annoying.
transition.
Is I literally just bought a new metal wiry brush like
Ah.
2 weeks ago. Where were you 2 weeks ago?
I was
Barbecuing.
People showed up for the podcast 2 weeks ago.
Goodness gracious. Unbelievable.
have you guys kayaked before?
I have.
Okay.
I
think I tried.
Don't get me started.
Didn't go
man.
well.
Hang on, for our
I
friends at AMA
abs-
Travel, go kayaking.
Yeah, where are
Yes.
you,
You know?
kayaking to this summer?
Why wouldn't you? Anyway, Liam, back to you.
So it was my dad's birthday over the weekend. And my dad
Congratulations.
has a canoe.
How many trips around the sun for the old boy?
47.
Oh, you got a young dad.
Oh, good
Yeah,
number.
he is. He's not too much older than me.
No.
Old enough.
Oh, old enough, obviously. But he was a younger gentleman.
Yes. So my parents bought a canoe, and for his birthday, they wanted to go on the lake. So we drive up to Elk Island. My sister and her boyfriend have paddle boards, and my girlfriend was away this weekend, so I had to bring my buddy came with me because I had a double kayak, and we were going to rent a canoe. So I needed a second. So me and my buddy come, and we just get this inflatable kayak. I'm like, okay, I hate the water. Like, I do not get in the water at all.
You and me
Really?
both.
Yeah,
You and me both.
it's not my thing. It's
Can you
not
swim
for me.
though?
I can swim if I have to.
Right, gotcha.
So we blow up this inflatable kayak, and the whole time I'm thinking, like, this doesn't look very safe at all. And then in the back, it's like capacity 2 people, 400 pounds. And combined, we were both probably about 420 combined.
You were on the
over it.
precipice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was just estimated value. And we get on this thing and immediately just feel like the bottom kind of dip in the water like a little bit more. And I'm like rowing around this lake. I'm like, boy, oh boy. And then we didn't know what we were doing. So we're just endlessly spinning around in this damn thing.
Yeah.
Absolute disaster. very fun. Caught the sun a little bit.
Yeah, you got a little bronze.
good.
But my mum and dad obviously have this canoe and they've done it a few times. And they're like in the middle of this lake, and all I can envision is me going to the middle of the lake and thinking like that being it.
Yeah, you're still out there.
Going down and just
You're blowing the whistle on your
I'm
life vest.
spinning in
Still.
circles. Yes. So yeah, Elk Island, great little spot though.
Oh, 100%.
I love Elk Island. I go fairly often.
Nice hiking trails there too.
Yeah, I mostly go for the lake.
Oh yeah,
And just
100%,
sit by- I don't go-
especially in the summer.
The lake is kind of gross.
I'm overdue to go in. I haven't been in a while.
Yeah,
I'm due.
golf course is right there too. It's only 9 holes, but it's not the best.
I know those are fun.
What's the best
Yeah.
lake in Alberta? You say?
Not Elk Island. I mean, Sylvan's pretty good.
Sylvan Lake's awesome.
I
Yeah,
haven't been to too many lakes in a while.
the mountain ones.
Is Walman good?
Walman's okay.
Yeah, a lot of people
Little
boat
dirty,
there. Alberta Beach is fun.
Actually, an
I know you
underrated
can't really
lake.
swim in Alberta Beach anymore, though.
Alberta Beach is
Yeah.
kind of grimy.
Oh,
Yeah,
is it?
like, I know
I
they
haven't
have,
been
like-
for a few years.
Yeah, somewhat their lake.
A nice
like, a while ago.
underrated lake's Wizard Lake. It's kind of near Leduc. You got a nice little
I
ice
don't know
cream.
that
They
one.
got
I
a
think
little ice
I've-
cream shop there too.
I think I've been there. Yeah,
a
that's
lot
not
of fun
bad.
there. I don't know.
Good
If you're
lakes.
planning a trip around the lakes of Alberta, I recommend you check out our friends at
Yes.
AMA Travel. They will help you with whatever you need, whether it's flights or hotels or car rentals. AMA Travel, they've got what you need. Where's Tyler today? He's in Nashville. Where's Jay today? He's also in Nashville. Thanks to AMA Travel. They got him there. You know who else is on the move, boys? Once again, our former friend. Taylor Hall was traded today from the Boston Bruins to the Chicago Blackhawks. And all I could think about is my guy doesn't stick anywhere very long, doesn't he?
No.
So I dove in. He had 6 years here in Edmonton, about 3.75 in New Jersey. He got traded to the Arizona Coyotes, if you remember, the lost era of Taylor Hall. Then he had 37 games as a Buffalo Sabre, and then he has since been in Boston before getting traded to Chicago today. He is going to a terrible hockey team.
What was the return? I haven't seen the return yet.
It's Nick Foligno.
Who is
going
a
to-
pending UFA.
Yeah, going
Okay.
to Chicago. And then it's Ian Mitchell, former Spruce Grove Saint, and Alec Regular, whoever that is. I don't know who Alex Regular is. Alex Regular played 51 games in Rockford last season, 5 goals, 21 points. Former Detroit Red Wing.
From Frank Saravalli, he says no salary retained by Boston. This represents a pure salary dump to clear $6 million off the Bruins books.
So do you think they try to retain Tyler Bertuzzi now?
That would be my guess.
Yes, I would assume so as well.
I agree.
Which is interesting though, right? If you're
Yeah.
Taylor Hall and you go, oh, this guy just came in at the deadline from Detroit and they're picking him over me already. What is it about Taylor Hall that he keeps getting bumped around? I find it really interesting that the guy, he's a good hockey player.
He's very
There's no
good,
doubt
yeah.
about it, but he just can't seem to stick anywhere.
I think you kind of just get to a point as a player where you
It's his
just
sixth
get
team already.
You ever
just
got
get-
tired of it?
That's
you get
absolutely wild.
moved so many times where you're just like, oh well, let's just move him. You know,
Nah, he gets traded all the time. Probably doesn't even have a house anymore.
yeah, he's just renting everywhere. So I think that's probably it. But it is crazy to like look at his career. Like first overall pick, he was good in Edmonton.
Yeah, sure.
Very good.
Yeah.
MVP,
New Jersey, yep.
was on one of the best teams ever in NHL history last season in the
Yep.
Bruins regular season. And now you're going to Chicago Blackhawks. But rumor had like I think it was Chris Johnson that tweeted it. So he had a 16 team no trade list.
Yeah.
And the Chicago Blackhawks were not on the list.
So they didn't even have to talk to
So
him.
we didn't have to talk to him. They could just do it. So that I don't know when he made this list, but
KJ, you gotta adjust your list, my boy.
yeah, like
These lists are like him and his fucking boating license. He just can't seem to figure it out.
yeah, he hasn't
Oh,
updated the
man.
list since 2012, last time the Blackhawks won, and he's just that's tough. But I mean, like, hey, like he's been in this situation before. Now he's just older. Like he was basically Connor McDavid, right? Where you go into a team and there's pretty much nobody to come and help you out, and now it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm the guy, but it makes me think Chicago is just going to move him. You keep 50% and make $3 million Taylor Hall for 2 more years.
Oh, somebody would buy that.
Oh, big
For
time.
sure.
Somebody would buy that and they would pay a lot for it.
I'd be excited
Yeah.
to watch Bedard and Hall together though.
I would too.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about that is that at least Chicago is not doing what the Oilers did in the sense that they're bringing in a skilled veteran who can
Yes.
play with Connor
Yes.
Bedard. And we're not talking about, I don't even remember who the fuck was on that team at the time, like Benoit Pouliot
Yeah.
or something.
2010 Oilers.
Yeah, hit me.
Here we go.
Let's go.
So the top, Eberle, Hall, Gagne, Hemsky,
Oh, Jonesy.
Dustin Penner. Yeah, Ryan Jones, Linus Olmark, Liam Reddick,
Oh, the
my
Ginger Ninja.
Timo
And
Hartikainen,
some of these defensemen here, I totally forgot about, like a Jim Vandermeer.
Colin Fraser.
Assisted on Eberle's goal.
So the thing about this Oilers team, this was the first Oilers team I ever cheered for. What did they do to me? How did I stick around for so long?
It's a fair question.
I think mine was the year before Hall is when I really started getting into hockey.
It's a fair question. That brings us back to our Elks conversation that we started the podcast with.
Yes.
What are you doing?
What have
with
you
your
done
life?
for me lately? Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, Happy Boolin. This team is actually crazy to think. Like, what did they finish with that season?
They were terrible. They finished
they
with
were
Nugent
second
Hopkins
last.
is what they finished with.
I think second last.
Yes.
They finished with
It was
Ryan
25 and something. He's had it right there at the top.
Oh, is there?
Good Lord.
25 and 45 and 12.
Oh, there it is. Not bad.
25, 45, and 12?
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Taylor
I want
Hall.
to finish dead last.
They all set up for us to get Connor McDavid now.
Well, I mean, Hall
It
had
all
an
worked.
eventful time in that rookie year. He
Butterfly
got into a
effect.
fight, and then a couple years later, he took a skate to the face.
Who did he fight? Oh, Derek Dorsett.
Yeah.
And he got suspended, did he not, for kneeing Kyle
Cal
Clutterbuck?
Clutterbuck.
Yeah.
That was one of the best knees I've seen in quite
Yeah,
some
that
time.
was a big one.
Yep. And then, like Waz said, Corey Potter stepped on his face.
Yes.
That was just a wild circumstance.
Would you ever take him back?
Sure.
Yes, I would.
I think so.
Yes,
I
I would.
100% would. And I think it's like
100%.
at this stage in his career, he's a 30-year-old man, 31-year-old man.
Yes.
He's not the kid that
He's
we
married
traded
now?
away. He's married.
Yeah.
He's a veteran. He probably at some point would love to play on a team for more than 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
And the comments that we usually get on social when Taylor Hall's brought up is like, oh, he's a cancer in the locker room, this and that, he's just bad teammate. Like, I don't know, maybe the guy's matured a lot. I never really dug into that.
Well, for sure he has.
Yeah.
For sure he has.
I also love when people do that and they have never spoken to him, met him,
Right.
or been
Never stepped
anywhere
foot
near
in
an
the Oilers
NHL
locker
dressing room.
room once.
I mean, when you look at that team.
I don't know. I would love to have Halsey back. He was my favorite player growing up, but so maybe it's a bias for me to say, but I would
Same.
take him back in a heartbeat.
I would honestly, if we can make the money work in some capacity, it'd be awesome to see play with Nuge again. And
Half retained, he would make $250,000 more than Warren Fogle.
oh, jeez, wow.
Pick your poison,
Yeah,
folks.
no kidding.
Man.
It just depends if the money works and depends where the Oilers are at, right? So.
Speaking of Warren Fogle, Jason Gregor, Gregor the intern, as we call him.
Mhm. People were very confused by that. in the
Actually,
chat
I think
today.
I think
Really?
Yeah.
What
I
did they say?
saw.
We were like, he's not an intern. It's Jason Gregor. And they're like, no. That is
he's
an
an
intern. But then there was other people like, damn, this intern has a lot of information.
This intern knows his shit.
yeah.
Speaking of Gregor, I saw him at O'Byrne's the other day on Saturday.
Nice.
Exposing his spots.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this is very random.
Come
Like,
on,
is that
Waz.
Jason Gregor?
Why don't you dox him next? You want the home
Maybe I
address?
will.
Yeah.
Drop his addy.
Let's go.
Jason Gregor saying he wrote a little update article from Nashville. He's talking about potentially trading Warren Fogle if a Kyler Yamamoto trade doesn't come together. Also talking about Philip Broberg. And this is what I wanted to ask you
It's
guys.
interesting.
I got into an argument on Better Late Than Never with Presto.
Yes.
He is one of the listeners that calls in and leaves messages all the time. And we kind of got into a debate about who is more impactful on the Edmonton Oilers, which I know I'm right.
I know you're
Ryan
right,
Nugent Hopkins or potentially Philip Broberg. It's not really a debate at all.
So let me
Nuge
guess,
is gonna
you
be-
said Philip Broberg.
That's right. I actually would be completely open to trading Philip Broberg because, as Gregor says in his article, he needs to play.
Yeah.
He's not going to get a whole lot better playing 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes a night.
Definitely not. And we've seen that.
What could you get if you package Broberg with something else? Because his name is still going to mean something to someone.
Yeah.
You've got Nurse, you've got Ekholm, you've got Kulak. He is not better than any of those three.
No.
No, he's not. Today on the live show too, they were kind of unsure 100% what, like they basically said like you couldn't just trade Broberg and get a really good return. It would have to be like Broberg and something to get the return, because that's the thing. Like no one really knows what this guy is. Like, is he?
No.
I think Philip Broberg is a good hockey player. He's got a lot of potential, obviously being an 8th overall pick, but the other's got a good embarrassment of riches on the left side.
And
He doesn't need to be around. But the worry thing is for me, it just from a selfish perspective, is what is your option if you get rid of a Broberg? Like, who's your 7th guy now? And I know you can just go and get someone from free agency, but they tried to do that last year with Ryan Murray and he was shit. So is Niemelainen just a guy that hangs around there a little bit? You know what I mean? I'm not too
it's a
like
fair
worried
point.
about it, but if someone goes down, I'm like, okay, well, at least we have Broberg.
Yeah, or to me that just screams waiver pickup.
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's true.
You know,
That's
there's
fair.
always reasonable players that get sent through waivers earlier in the season. Like if you can get something on the right side, or just have a wide open hole on the right wing, Broberg plus something to get you
Taylor Hall. Oh, he's a lefty.
somewhere to fill
Connect
in
me.
there.
Yeah.
When I think of trading Broberg and then potentially Yamamoto, and this opens another conversation, you have to start talking about like the Oilers scouting and development, because now you've traded Puljujarvi in the 2016 first round pick. Yamamoto is a first round pick. Broberg is a first round pick. Recently, the Oilers are just trading these first round picks that haven't really panned out, and it's like I don't know. Is this a different conversation to have now?
I don't.
Maybe.
Yeah,
But at the
I
same
think
point,
yes and no.
the first round picks that have been successful are just on the team.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
McDavid, Draisaitl,
Nurse.
Stuart Skinner, Bouchard.
Like,
There's like
post
way more.
McDavid.
Dylan Holloway looks to be very
hope
promising.
I think every team has the circumstances where first round picks just don't work out.
And
Or sometimes you gotta give to get sometimes.
For sure.
I don't think Yamamoto is getting moved because he's a bad hockey player. I think he's getting moved because the others can't afford him and need someone better in that position. If Yamamoto was a third line winger making even $2.5 million, I think you would still be on the
If
team.
he was making two, we're not having this call.
It's just about
Yeah.
who fits on your team right now, too.
And I think the players that are coming through as well, like you look at like Tulio looks really good. Matvei Petrov looks very good. Ryan Fanti got in a fight, had a goal and a shutout last season as a goalie.
Yeah.
So
McLeod,
Ryan McLeod.
Stuart Skinner, like it's been hit and miss, I feel.
On that right wing, sticking with it, might as well touch on Connor Brown. We're all talking about
He's
it.
already in Edmonton Oilers, so
Jason Gregor in his article, and I quote, "Boys, I'm hearing Connor Brown would consider a bonus-laden contract to sign in Edmonton, especially if Kyler Yamamoto is dealt or bought out. The right wing depth chart is wide open." Gregor's guess, and this is just a guess, so keep that in mind, is he could see it coming in somewhere, if it happens, around $2 million in base salary and $1 million in bonuses for games played, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and I think that's the only way the others can get it done. Is you can't go lower than 2 million. I don't think you can maybe go like 1.75 because those bonuses roll into your cap next season. And now I know the rumor is it's going to go up to 90 million, which would push it up 7. But also we thought it was going to go up like 3 million this season, and it's not. So you don't want to play with fire a little bit.
Nuts.
It is crazy.
The salary cap has gone up $2 million in the 4 years Ken Holland has been GM. That is nuts.
And Ken Holland has somehow managed to keep the band together.
Somehow,
and
out a
has
way.
been able to add the Hymans, the Canes, and get Nuge on a very reasonable deal. Like, obviously, Campbell hasn't worked out yet, but it's not going to be as bad as this year because it seems
They
statistically
can't be.
impossible.
No, it
like,
definitely cannot be.
so, yeah, Connor Brown, you don't want to go too crazy on the bonuses, but you got to make it like worth it for him. And then from Connor Brown's perspective, like, if the cap does go up that much money, you could probably get $4 million from a multi-year deal if you have a really good season with the Oilers as a minimum next season with the cap going up. And it probably won't be in Edmonton, unfortunately. But saying that, we all thought Tyson Berry was going to be a one and done player, and then he stuck
what I
around
was
and
just gonna
signed a
bring up
contract,
too.
and then we got Mattias Ekholm.
And it's like also you have insider Gene Principate quoting
I
Luke
saw
Gazzik's
that.
video. This could be all happening just around the Connor. So
yes,
I mean, Gene Principate doesn't just toss things out like that. So
what does Gene know?
what does Gene
and
know?
then obviously you have like your responses to Connor Brown like this is like so much hype on a guy who's always injured, but like
Is he?
Is he though?
Frank alluded, like his health's been pretty good. Like
It has been. We walked through this on Oilers Nation Radio, and his health, like last year, of course, he played 4 games, no argument last year.
Yeah.
2021, he got banged up a little bit, missed 18 games. But before that, the 56 in 2021, that's how many games they played.
Yeah.
71 in 2019, 2020. That's just how many games they played. Then 82, 82, 82. So has he really been?
I don't think he's an injury concern, though.
No, he's not. And like, it's sometimes like stuff just happens too.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly,
what if
yeah.
he just got like, we don't know what those injuries are. I was just speculating. What if, for example, like he just took a shot off the glove, it's his hand and he's out for like 2 weeks. That's not something that's like he pulled a muscle. Like it's an unavoidable injury, and it's such a big difference between those different.
It'd be like
things.
saying after last year that Evander Kane is injury prone because he got his arm stepped on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, well,
It's not like that.
no. and then he broke a rib. Like, what are you going to do?
Like, what would be injury prone is someone like, unfortunately, Kylie Yamamoto, who now has this head neck injury that he can't shake off because it's a very bad injury.
And he's like, the thing I'm worried about with Kyler Yamamoto is he's a small dude and a big man.
Just a little guy. Just a little guy.
And the way he plays, like he's feisty. He wants to get in the mix. And I love that about him. But at the same time, that's hard on the body,
areas,
man.
But like you just said, with his size, he just can't.
It is hard on the body.
Yeah. Like Frank Staravalli said on Oilers Nation Every Day last week, like Connor Brown doesn't have a lot of wear and tear. Like he's been also improving his diet to play like, I don't know. And like what, like,
well, and he's rehabbing to get back and like come back in a career year, like a contract year, to kind of show up. So I think come to Edmonton is hugely enticing for a guy like him, right? Because he missed so many games last year. Come to Edmonton, have a career year, and then cash in the following season.
Why would you say there's like so much hype about Connor Brown though? Like, well, why is all this hype?
I just think it's a good
if you're
fit.
If you're talking to someone who's not an Oilers fan,
because they can afford him.
They can afford him. He's a solid player. He's got 20 goals under his belt. He's good buddies with McDavid. They play together in junior. There's a lot of ties there that just make sense.
Great fit for the team.
And he's also been the only player like legitimately linked with the Oilers since last offseason, since like Bob McKenzie tweeted something out. Like,
I don't think it's necessarily like fully about Connor Brown. It's like what Baggedmilk just said. It's like there's so many links to him. Like the thing where the Oilers literally tried to trade Fogle last summer so they could get the assets to get Connor Brown. He obviously gets that injury, which is kind of helped the Oilers in a massive way. And now they'll be able to afford him. Like who knows what he could have done
Price himself
in Washington. Yeah. And now it just makes sense. He's an upgrade over Kylie Yamamoto, and that's what the Oilers are looking for on a better deal.
Exactly. Does he make our team better? Yes. Okay, let's move on. I think he comes in, he makes our team better from day one, from the preseason, from the regular season. So I want him here too.
We like to get excited about players who were probably going to be Oilers for the most part.
As we should.
Yeah,
we should. And that's why we're all Oilers fans.
Last year,
and that's why we love silly season.
Last year,
silly season.
The big name was Jack Campbell. We got hyped up about him. And then now, here's Connor Brown. And before that was Zach Hyman's. Like, it's just how it is.
The funny thing is just, to me, is there's not supposed to be any tampering of any kind at this point of the season. You're not supposed to be able to talk to free agents until Saturday. But then 10 minutes after it opens, you're going to have a very intricate contract with terms and deals and bonuses and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's amazing what you guys got done first thing this morning, boys. Nonsense.
Saturday, July 1st. Canada
It is
Day.
nonsense. We will all be here. Oodle Noodle will be sponsoring the Nation HQ War Room. We'll be here with some fresh content for you. Just watch out for Nation Network all across, just all week, really.
I just want to say for Nation HQ staff, it's going to be busy parking. Dog patches can be open. Saturdays are always busy. So
Thanks for the heads up, Waz. This will be my first free agency frenzy with you guys. Looking forward to it.
It's a good time.
Last year was great because it wasn't on Canada Day.
Last year was excellent because it was the 13th of July. And
yeah, that was
the
awesome.
long weekend.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's how I look at it. I like having a job in sports.
Me too.
And unfortunately, it's the fucking way she goes.
Yeah, no, it is true.
Because you know what? I'm looking around this room right now. None of us are wearing dress clothes. Nobody's got a fucking tie on. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go to the Value Village by my house and grab something.
Nice.
I'll be dressing up. I'll dress up
three-piece
for
tux?
today.
You dressed up for trade deadline day this year, didn't you?
Wear
Like a nice little collared shirt.
Polo, nice pants.
Kind of like how Tyler looked today on Oilers Nation Every Day.
Tyler looks like he should be clearing people's tables.
Maybe he is.
Daily Face-Off Tyler's look it's serious. He's got the hair coiffed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different look.
It is a different look.
I can't get used to it.
Then he gets an hour show and hat's backwards. Got a Blue Jays
Drops a
hoodie
couple
on.
Yeah.
Got his red shoes on.
Dropping all the fucks that he wasn't allowed to say on Daily Face-Off Live.
Yes.
Yeah. There you have it. For our friends at AMA Travel, Wilhock Beef Jerky, and Betway. Little Monday episode of Real Life, even though nobody showed up but me. So thank you to Liam, to Gavin, and to Waz for sitting in. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We will be back on Thursday. Who's going to be here? I have no idea. I will be here. I know Liam will be here because he is contractually obliged to be Tyler's producer when he is not here.
Let's run it back.